The Fiat 500 Abarth and the Fiat 500e have just been launched in Australia and, of course, many other countries around the world. It's one of the best-selling electric cars in Europe, surprisingly, considering it's not exactly cheap. But when I saw it in person, I discovered why people are buying it, even though it's not exactly cheap. Aside from the fact that it's electric, it's nothing like the normal Fiat 500. In fact, it's an entirely new car. It's bigger than the standard Fiat 500, much more luxurious. It's actually a really nice car. I interviewed one of the bigwigs at Fiat. In fact, he took a gasoline-powered Fiat 500 a couple of years ago and he completely reworked it, turned it into an electric Fiat 500. This is before the 500e even existed. So this guy knows his stuff and he did it all himself, which is amazing.
Good to meet you. Yes. David. David, tell me about this new... I've said on the channel probably 10 times, this is one of my favorite looking electric cars. And you've got to admit, it's a really good looking car, but that's just looks. What about substance? Tell me about the substance.
It's just a lot of fun. A lot of EVs can be very sterile, but the 500e, it's just, we tend to find when people drive other cars, they come back and they say this is the car they want to drive. There's something about the acceleration in a small package, and an Italian car's got to be fun. They're always fun. And so we've got the 500 Ela Prima, which is this car here, and then we've got the Abarth Scorpionissima coming later in the year as well.
So the Abarth is going to be like the hot hatch version.
The Abarth is the hot hatch, yes. So small but wicked is the motto for Abarth.
And you don't need to spend $15,000 on a dog box. You guys, what I'm talking about is the Abarth version in the past, right? Had the option, very expensive option of $15,000 on its special gearbox.
It was.
But
it was non-synchro, like an original Fiat 500 of 1957, and it cost almost as much as a whole Fiat 500 as an option alone.
You can see how much I follow cars that I would know that, right?
Yes.
So tell me about the range, the battery.
So 311 k's WLTP.
Yeah.
So in terms of real world, and our experience has been, yes, they are achieving that quite happily.
Yeah.
So from our point of view, the customers who've taken delivery have really been enjoying the cars.
How big is the battery?
42 kilowatt hours.
And what does the car weigh?
It's about just over 1,300 kilos.
So that would make it the lightest electric car.
Yeah, well, it's one of the most efficient electric cars you can buy.
What is the efficiency?
It's off the top of my head, I can't tell you, but in terms of sustainability, yes, it's won several awards for sustainability in terms of its impact. Its green impact is something Fiat's been working on a lot.
It is a bit more pricey, but I've heard that that's because it's got more stuff.
The only option is the colour.
I heard that. I read that in the review.
Yeah.
The only option is the colour, so you pay more for different colours.
Yes, so this is the most expensive colour, which is Celestial Blue, which is the pearl blue.
Okay.
And then we've got some other cool colours. There's the rose gold, there's the ocean green.
Yep.
But a white one is just under 58 on the road driveway in Victoria with no subsidies because we don't have any in Victoria. So,
I know, that's a bit of a bummer.
Anymore.
So what else are you getting? Because there's no options. So what are you getting of stuff that's like, people would think that's cool to have that?
Well, look, I mean, in terms of the car itself, you've got the glass roof, you've got the level 2 autonomy standard. So it's got the traffic sign recognition, it's got adaptive cruise, active lane departure, active blind spots, wireless CarPlay, wireless charging, all of that's included. There's nothing you need to tick to add to it on the car.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Is this a ground up EV? Like
it is.
Its own. Okay.
It's bespoke EV platform. So I own a first generation.
I saw there's no transmission tunnel.
Yeah.
So I was impressed by that.
Yeah. So I've got a Californian 500e, which I bought into Australia in 2018. That's my data.
You had to. Where did you get it from? Where did you buy that?
I bought it in San Francisco. So I said,
you had to move the steering wheel across?
I converted. I completely reshelled it into Australia.
Did you?
Yep, that's my daily. It's sitting under here.
Yourself?
Myself.
Wow. So you must have been in.
So I've done 70,000 days in a 500e already.
What do you think it would have cost you to do that? Because a lot of
About
people on my channel
grand.
have said, I would love to import a car where it's only left-hand drive, about 45.
35 grand plus a lot of sweat equity.
Yeah, and you'd have to
a
figure
lot of
out
hours. But I did it as a learning exercise to understand EVs, and I love it. It's a great car. I mean, look, this is a much better car, but
this version is better than.
Oh yeah, it is because it's a proper EV platform, whereas mine's a converted internal combustion car. So this is a better car. But do I love my car still? After 5 years and 70,000? Yes, absolutely love it.
Sometimes you love things that you're involved in building, right? You put in the work and then you get a bit of enjoyment from that.
Yeah, very much so. And it just suits what I do. I mean, I live in the eastern suburbs, I commute to Richmond every day, and it's just perfect. It just does everything I want to do.
Are they considering any more versions of this? Or is there only ever going to be one model? Will you have any other? I know the Abarth, but other like maybe a cheaper version, would that be possible?
There's talk. The exchange rates are our enemy at the moment. So because these are built in mirror orients are in, we are against the euro, and we're always backing that.
Will they make them in China?
No. So Fiat are very committed to building this car in Italy.
Okay.
Yeah. So the previous generation Fiat 500s were built in Poland or Mexico. So my electric one's a Mexican built car. The cars we saw in Australia were Polish built cars. But we will only get these out of Italy.
And what's the battery chemistry?
That I can't tell you off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
I'll look that up later, guys.
You'll look that up later. I'll have to come back to you on that.
What about the performance? What does it do 0 to 100 kilometers or 0 to 62 miles an hour?
9 seconds, I think, to 100 on these, and 7 seconds on the Abarth. Yep.
And performance in terms of handling, do you feel like it handles pretty well?
It's so much fun. It's just
because you've got the weight in the bottom.
Yeah.
Weight distribution. Do you know what the weight distribution is?
The weight distribution, no, I don't know the exact figure off the top of my head, but
a lot of EVs have pretty good weight distribution though, because the battery packs
it's
can
very
be
low
spread
down
off
and towards the back of the car. So it's a very different car to drive to the internal combustion car.
Alfa Romeo, tell me about what we can look for in their future for electric cars.
Well, we'll be totally electrified in the next 3 years.
Everything?
Yeah, so we'll be electric across the range. So we will jump completely from internal combustion to full electric. There is
3 years?
There's no middle step. So set
You'll be one of the first then if it's...
That's it. Last to first is the motto for Alpha.
Last to first.
Yep.
That's good news.
So said I went to Italy last year. I went to the styling studio and I've seen the cars that are coming and they're amazing.
How are Italians handling this? Is this something where they're like, I don't know, we love petrol cars?
Well, we'll see. But I mean, I've seen the next generation Alpha, which will be launched next year, the fully electric car, and
tell people what that is. Can you tell people what that is?
Well, they haven't even announced the name of it yet.
Oh,
so
okay.
There is a competition, I believe, that's been done to work out a name for the car. So we'll see what it is. But it's a smaller SUV than the Tonale,
I thought it was smaller,
and it's got some really cool 90s sort of Alfa Romeo styling cues. So if you think back to the Alfa Romeo SZ and some of those really iconic 90s Alphas, there's a styling language like that, which is really heading towards.
Will that be coming to Australia?
We're pushing for it. Look, it hasn't been released in Europe yet, so it'll be revealed next year in Europe, and we'll see.
How are orders going for these?
Good. Yeah, very good. I mean, we had a lot of pre-orders on them, which we've filled now, and now we've got stock available. So these are available, ready to go. And then Abarth, we've had the first Australian cars built, the Scorpionissima, so 1949 globally, 200 for Australia.
You've got a pretty big allocation.
We've got a big allocation. Yes.
So the percentage-wise, it's quite a big number.
Percentage-wise, it's a big number. Yeah. So that car will be November, December. We'll start to see those arriving. So it'll be a higher spec car than the one we've got here today. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Is that Abarth, the Abarth version? I haven't looked at that one.
Yeah, that's an Abarth.
All right. Let's have a quick look at that then. Yeah. Tell me a bit about that one.
So this car,
I can see the wheels.
So this car here, just to qualify, this is an engineering evaluation car.
Engineering evaluation car, what does that mean?
So this is a car that was brought in for testing. So this is not an Australian spec car.
Will it be similar?
Similar. Yeah. So the Australian spec car will be a higher spec than this. So it'll have the Alcantara inside, it'll have the sunroof, nicer wheels. So it's a limited edition car, the Scorpionissima. So Carlo Abarth was a racing car driver, as you knew, and Scorpio is a star sign. So small but wicked is the Abarth. And obviously the electric one has the lightning bolt through it. So that's and 1949 was when Carlo Abarth started his business.
I like the wheels.
The wheels are different to the ones we're getting in Australia, but they will be an 18-inch wheel.
Okay.
And this one has the sound generator on it as well. So Massimo can start it up for you. And
start it up. Let's have a listen.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
I'll hop on in. We've got the start-stop engine button here on the left.
Start, stop.
There you go.
Oh, do that again.
All right. So I'll put the keys down.
It actually. So the sound is coming from the back.
So you got a subwoofer front of the car, yeah.
Oh right, it's a subwoofer. Okay.
So you hear the outside the car as well.
So he's accelerating again. Do it again. It sounds like a normal petrol car.
Well, the idea is it sounds like an Abarth.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
they've
I
actually taken the sound from that and copied it, or
They spent 6,000 hours developing
6,000.
yeah,
Wow.
the sound of this. So
Can you turn that off?
you can, yeah. If you want to, you can turn the sound generator off. If you want to go stealth, you can still do it.
It does sound good, but it's just a bit odd.
It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear it on the road, it sounds really good. I saw one in Italy go past me when I was in Milan last year.
So when it's driving, it makes a different noise.
Yeah, it's really quite cool. But the whole idea of it is, it's different. It's a bit of fun, and that's what an Italian car's got to be.
Mate, thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
You too, buddy.
All the best.
I think that it's in a niche all of its own.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's very much it. We're always about the niche, but a niche that has fun. And we'll. It's the
How much will it be?
This one about 69 on the road.
Okay.
Yeah, in Scorpionisma.
Okay.
Which is the launch car.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Should you consider buying the 500e? Well, I probably wouldn't. It's only $6,000 more to buy the Fiat 500e Abarth. And the Abarth is the performance version. It's quite a lot nicer than the standard version. It's worth the $6,000. Now that's 6,000 Australian dollars, so around 4,000 US dollars to buy the 500e Abarth. What does it cost? It's around 60,000 Australian dollars, around 40,000 US dollars. It's certainly not cheap considering it's a small car. But to give you an idea on size, it's about the size of a Toyota Yaris. So a Toyota Yaris, similar kind of size to this in terms of interior space as well. The interior space is not too bad. And it's the fact that it's a ground up EV means there's no ridiculous transmission tunnel there are in some EVs, by the way. To those people saying there's not, do your homework, guys. Look at the images of pictures of. There's even some in Mercedes EVs. Well, at least there was when I last looked anyway. So it's a really nice car. What's the battery pack size? It's a 38 kilowatt hour battery. Not very big, but the car's really light, fairly small. It's about 1,400 kilos, so around 2,900 pounds. Performance, it's got 115 kilowatts, so around about 150 horsepower. Not a whole lot of power, but it does give the car the ability to sprint to 62 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour in 7 seconds. Claim driving range. Now, the driving range is where I was a little bit disappointed. It's 252 kilometers of range. So what's that? About 155 miles, somewhere around that number. The efficiency is, well, surprisingly quite a bit less than, say, a Tesla Model 3. Efficiency is 15 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Charging speed, DC charging, 11 kilowatt on a home charger max, and 85 kilowatt on a fast charger, which it sounds slow, and it is, but the truth is because the battery pack is quite small, you can charge it pretty quickly. Now, one thing to know about it, it's front wheel drive, and it does have a sound system for the exhaust, but there is no exhaust. It sounds exactly like the gasoline powered version, and I have to say it actually sounds, it's so weird, but it sounds really good. And I do like the idea you have that feature. You don't have to have it, you can turn it off or on. It's probably a little bit silly, but it's still a bit of fun, and they've done a good job tuning it. It's something ridiculous to get the sound out of the car to make it sound this way. It really does work. You probably could convince people you have a gasoline powered car or petrol powered car, and then just tell them, tricked your heart, it's an EV. And you could really probably get an interesting response there to say, you thought it was gasoline powered, you liked it. Now it's an EV, you don't like it. Why, mate? What's wrong with you? I think that's kind of the response you could probably get from some of the people who are hesitant about EVs. So, would I buy one? Well, probably not, because it's about the price of a Tesla Model 3, the new version of the Model 3, which I think is a significantly better car. It's actually, performance is very similar. Performance around a corner? No, absolutely not. The Fiat 500 Abarth around a corner would be amazing. Now, if you live in a small city with little streets, or you just like going around corners really quickly, this thing would eat almost every car on the road for breakfast going around a corner. It's probably going to get amazing cornering speeds. That battery pack is right down low in the car. There's no engine. The center of gravity is perfectly laid out. There's no high mass having that engine, like I said. So really, this would be a great car if you love handling. If you love, that sort of experience of feeling like you're in a sports car, I think you're going to get that out of the Abarth. You're not going to get that out of the standard range Model 3, but the Model 3 is just, it's such a good deal that I wouldn't be able to give it up. Now, what I want to know is, guys, what do you think? What would you choose out of those two cars? Do you think the Abarth is fairly priced, or is it too expensive? Let me know. Now, there is a general normal Fiat 500e coming out. It'll cost $52,000. That's around, what, just under 37,000 US, around that. That's the standard 500e. And if you're not after the performance of the Abarth, that's definitely worth looking at.